Don't force, let life unfold. Victory Stoic. Welcome to Victory Stoic. Hello, Stoic friends. Welcome back to Victory Stoic, your haven for timeless wisdom tailored to modern life. Today, we'll address a challenge so many of us face, the tendency to force things, whether in love, career, or personal growth, and how learning to let life unfold can bring profound peace and clarity. We've all experienced it, holding on to someone who no longer reciprocates, pushing for a promotion that seems just out of reach, or striving to fix every small imperfection in our lives. This approach is exhausting and rarely fruitful. Why? Because life resists force. The Stoics understood this centuries ago. They taught that peace comes not from bending the world to our will, but from aligning with what we can control and releasing the rest. Epictetus captured this beautifully. Some things are up to us, and some things are not. When we force relationships, we often communicate desperation instead of confidence. When we force career moves, we risk burnout instead of growth. And when we force personal progress, we lose the joy of the journey. Instead, Stoicism offers a different path, one of self-awareness, patience, and acceptance. In this article, we'll explore 13 principles inspired by Stoic philosophy to help you move from forcing to allowing, from chasing to attracting, and from frustration to fulfillment. These principles are not just philosophical ideas, they're practical tools you can apply to every aspect of life. This isn't about giving up, it's about finding balance. When you stop forcing and start flowing, you'll discover that what's truly meant for you will naturally find its way into your life. Before we dive into the video, let's spice things up with a challenge. Here's the deal, watch the entire video without skipping a single second, soak in the insights, and apply them to your life for a week. After that, swing back here and let us know how it transformed your perspective. Drop a comment with "Go with the flow" below if you're in for this journey and ready to uncover the life-changing wisdom of Stoic philosophy. Prepare yourself, as this marks the beginning of your journey into deeper self-discovery and the timeless wisdom of Stoic philosophy. Let's begin. Chapter 1: The Cost of Forcing Relationships. Forcing relationships often stems from fear of loneliness, rejection, or losing someone important. It shows up in ways like overtexting someone who doesn't respond, going to great lengths to please a distant partner, or holding on to a one-sided connection. The problem is that forcing relationships communicates neediness, which is inherently unattractive. People sense when you're not centered in your own worth, and this can create distance rather than connection. Epictetus reminds us, freedom is the only worthy goal in life. It is won by disregarding things beyond our control. In relationships, what lies beyond our control are other people's feelings, actions, and choices. No matter how much effort we put in, we cannot make someone love, respect, or prioritize us. Forcing a connection not only drains our energy but also diminishes our self-esteem. Take the example of Alex, who constantly pursues partners who seem uninterested. Alex texts frequently, plans elaborate dates, and overanalyzes every response, or lack thereof. Despite his efforts, he feels increasingly distant from his partner. Why? Because the more Alex forces, the less authentic the connection becomes. This is the trap of chasing. When you focus on changing someone else's behavior, you lose sight of what truly matters, your own values, growth, and well-being. The Stoics teach us to focus on what we can control. In relationships, this means shifting our attention from external validation to internal stability. Instead of trying to force someone to care, nurture your own sense of worth and let go of what doesn't align with your values. Chapter 2: Accept What You Can't Control. Acceptance is one of the most liberating principles of Stoicism. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." In life and relationships, this means acknowledging what lies beyond your influence. You cannot dictate someone else's feelings, decisions, or actions. Trying to do so often leads to frustration and pain, as it sets you up for battles you're destined to lose. But acceptance isn't passive resignation, it's an act of courage. When you accept what you can't control, you free yourself from unnecessary suffering and create space to focus on what truly matters, your own growth, character, and actions. Imagine Sarah, who is struggling in a work environment where her boss constantly overlooks her contributions. Despite working harder and staying late, Sarah feels unrecognized. Her attempts to prove her worth only lead to exhaustion and resentment. The Stoic approach would guide Sarah to shift her perspective. She cannot control her boss's actions, but she can control her own mindset and efforts. Instead of forcing acknowledgement, Sarah could focus on developing her skills, setting boundaries, and exploring new opportunities that align with her values. Practical exercise, the sphere of control. Take a piece of paper and divide it into 2 columns. In the first column, write what's frustrating you in a specific situation, whether it's a relationship, a career challenge, or a personal struggle. In the second column, separate what is within your control and what is not. For example, what you can't control, how someone feels about you, whether a colleague acknowledges your efforts, or the timing of external events. What you can control, your communication, your skill set, your boundaries, and your response to setbacks. Commit to focusing only on what lies within your sphere of control. Every time you catch yourself ruminating on the uncontrollable, redirect that energy to self-improvement or meaningful action. This practice doesn't just alleviate stress, it empowers you to take ownership of your life. When you stop trying to force what's out of your hands, you'll find clarity, peace, and a renewed sense of purpose. Chapter 3: Cultivate Independence. Independence is the backbone of a fulfilling life and a central tenet of Stoic philosophy. Marcus Aurelius reminded us, "Nowhere can man find a quieter or more untroubled retreat than in his own soul." This retreat, the ability to find contentment and strength within yourself, is what allows you to navigate life's challenges without relying too heavily on others. Independence doesn't mean detachment or isolation, it's about nurturing your personal growth, finding joy in your pursuits, and building a foundation of self-reliance. In relationships, independence fosters healthier dynamics. A relationship between 2 whole, independent individuals is far more resilient than one where one person depends entirely on the other for their happiness. When you rely on others to fill emotional voids, you unintentionally place a burden on the relationship. On the other hand, when you cultivate your independence, you bring richness, confidence, and depth to your connections. Consider Jack, who recently ended a long-term relationship. He initially struggled with loneliness and the temptation to jump into another relationship to fill the void. Instead, Jack decided to focus on himself. He pursued his passion for photography, took up hiking, and built a community of friends who shared his interests. Over time, Jack became more self-assured and grounded, which made him a more attractive and engaging person when he eventually re-entered the dating world. Practical exercise, redefining your identity. Take a moment to reflect on what truly defines you. Are you someone who identifies primarily through your relationships or external achievements? If so, it's time to expand your sense of self. List your passions. Write down 5 activities or interests that bring you joy. Commit to spending time on at least one of these each week. Set personal goals. Choose a skill, hobby, or area of growth to focus on for the next month. It could be learning a new language, improving your fitness, or volunteering. Celebrate small wins. Keep track of your progress and acknowledge your achievements, no matter how small they seem. Building independence is an ongoing journey. Each step you take toward self-reliance adds to your confidence and sense of purpose. In the workplace, independence can also be a game-changer. Rather than waiting for a manager's validation or approval, proactively seek opportunities to contribute and excel. This initiative often leads to recognition and respect, as it signals self-assurance and reliability. The impact of independence on relationships. When you cultivate independence, you shift the dynamics of your relationships. Instead of approaching them from a place of neediness or fear, you engage from a position of strength and abundance. This transformation is magnetic, as people are naturally drawn to those who exude confidence and self-sufficiency. Moreover, independence ensures that your sense of self-worth isn't tied to external factors. Whether a relationship flourishes or ends, your identity remains intact. This resilience not only benefits you but also sets a powerful example for those around you. By embracing your independence, you become a lighthouse, a steady, reliable presence that draws the right people into your life while standing tall on its own foundation. Chapter 4. Embrace patience. Patience is often undervalued in today's fast-paced world, yet it remains one of the most powerful virtues in Stoicism. As Marcus Aurelius wisely stated, "No great thing is created suddenly." This principle applies to all aspects of life, particularly relationships, career growth, and personal development. In a society that often glorifies instant gratification, Stoicism reminds us that true fulfillment takes time. Learning to embrace patience allows us to appreciate the journey instead of fixating solely on the destination. The role of patience in relationships. Relationships, like gardens, require nurturing. You can plant seeds, provide sunlight, and water them regularly, but you cannot force them to bloom on your timeline. Rushing relationships, whether romantic, familial, or professional, can lead to weak foundations that crumble under pressure. Consider Emily, who entered a new romantic relationship after years of being single. Eager to solidify the connection, she pushed for exclusivity and introduced her partner to her family within weeks. While her intentions were sincere, her urgency made her partner feel overwhelmed. The relationship became strained and ended prematurely. Contrast this with Sarah, who took a more measured approach. She allowed the relationship to develop at its own pace, focusing on shared experiences and open communication. This patience created a sense of trust and mutual understanding, ultimately leading to a stronger bond. Practical exercise, the art of waiting. Pause before acting. When you feel the urge to rush a decision or push for an outcome, take a step back. Breathe deeply and ask yourself, am I acting out of impatience or alignment with my values? Set long-term goals. Instead of focusing solely on immediate results, create a roadmap for what you want to achieve over the next year or more. Break these goals into smaller, actionable steps. Celebrate the journey, recognize and appreciate the progress you're making, even if it feels slow. Each step forward is a victory. Patience in career growth. In the workplace, patience is equally critical. Early in their careers, many individuals expect rapid promotions or immediate recognition for their efforts. While ambition is admirable, Stoicism teaches us to balance it with patience. Success is often the result of consistent effort over time, not sudden breakthroughs. Imagine a young professional named Jason who joined a competitive company. Frustrated by the lack of immediate advancement, Jason considered quitting. However, after adopting a Stoic perspective, he decided to focus on mastering his current role and building relationships with his colleagues. Over the next 2 years, his dedication and steady growth earned him a promotion and the respect of his peers. Patience as a tool for inner peace. Impatience often leads to stress, frustration, and poor decision-making. By practicing patience, you cultivate inner peace and emotional resilience. This doesn't mean passivity, it means trusting the natural flow of life while staying committed to your goals. Patience also plays a vital role in self-improvement. Whether you're trying to break a bad habit, learn a new skill, or recover from a setback, progress takes time. Accepting this reality reduces self-imposed pressure and allows you to enjoy the process of growth. The ripple effect of patience. When you practice patience, you not only transform your own life but also inspire those around you. Your calm demeanor and willingness to wait for the right moment can have a grounding effect on others, fostering trust and collaboration in both personal and professional settings. Patience, as a Stoic virtue, is not about passively waiting, it's about actively trusting. Trusting that your efforts will bear fruit, that challenges will teach you valuable lessons, and that life unfolds as it should. By embracing patience, you align yourself with the natural rhythm of the universe, creating space for meaningful and lasting connections. Chapter 5. Live in the Present. Living in the present is one of the core tenets of Stoicism, a philosophy that teaches us to find peace and contentment in the here and now. Marcus Aurelius encapsulates this beautifully. Confine yourself to the present. In our increasingly fast-paced and distraction-filled world, staying present is a challenge. We are often preoccupied with regrets about the past or anxieties about the future, which robs us of the joy and clarity available in the present moment. By practicing mindfulness and grounding ourselves in the present, we open the door to deeper connections, greater productivity, and a more fulfilling life. The trap of dwelling on the past and future. The past and the future often feel like magnets, pulling our attention away from where it belongs, right now. Dwelling on past mistakes or missed opportunities creates a cycle of guilt and regret. Similarly, obsessing over the future breeds anxiety, as we try to control outcomes that are inherently uncertain. Consider Michael, a professional constantly worrying about an upcoming project presentation. Instead of focusing on preparing effectively, he spends his time imagining worst-case scenarios. His anxiety clouds his ability to perform, leading to a self-fulfilling prophecy. Contrast this with Lily, who also faces a high-pressure presentation but chooses to focus solely on the tasks at hand. She dedicates her energy to crafting a clear narrative, rehearsing her delivery, and visualizing success. By staying present, Lily performs with confidence and ease. Practical steps to ground yourself in the present. Practice mindful breathing. When you catch your mind wandering, pause and take 3 deep breaths. Focus on the sensation of air entering and leaving your body. This simple exercise anchors you in the moment. Use the 5 senses. Engage with your environment by noticing what you can see, hear, touch, taste, and smell. This helps redirect your attention to the physical world, pulling you out of mental spirals. Set daily intentions. Begin each day with a clear intention, such as, I will focus on being fully present during my meetings, or I will give my undivided attention to my family tonight. The power of presence in relationships. Presence is a gift we give to others, especially in our relationships. When you are fully engaged with someone, listening attentively, maintaining eye contact, and responding thoughtfully, you create a space of trust and intimacy. Think of how rare it feels to be truly heard. In a world of multitasking and digital distractions, undivided attention is invaluable. When you prioritize presence, you strengthen your connections and deepen your relationships. Consider Sarah, who always checks her phone during dinner conversations. Her partner feels neglected and distant. After reflecting on the Stoic principle of presence, Sarah begins setting her phone aside and focusing entirely on the conversation. This small shift revitalizes their relationship, showing her partner that they matter. Gratitude as a tool for presence. Gratitude is closely tied to living in the present. When you focus on what you have, rather than what you lack, you cultivate a sense of abundance and contentment. Gratitude shifts your attention from what's wrong to what's right, anchoring you in the here and now. Start a gratitude journal where you list 3 things you're thankful for each day. These can be as simple as a kind word from a colleague, a delicious meal, or a moment of laughter. Over time, this practice rewires your brain to seek positivity in your daily experiences. Presence and productivity. In addition to enhancing relationships, living in the present boosts productivity. Multitasking may seem efficient, but it often leads to mistakes and missed details. Focusing on one task at a time improves both the quality and speed of your work. Set aside dedicated blocks of time for focused work, free from distractions. Use tools like the Pomodoro technique to work in intervals, ensuring you give your full attention to each task. Embracing the present during challenges. Living in the present doesn't mean ignoring challenges or pretending everything is perfect. It means fully experiencing the moment, even when it's difficult. By staying present, you can approach problems with clarity and composure, rather than being overwhelmed by fear or regret. Marcus Aurelius advises, "Do not let the future disturb you. You will meet it, if you have to, with the same weapons of reason which today arm you against the present." This perspective reminds us that we already possess the tools to face life's challenges. Trusting in our ability to handle the present moment reduces the fear of what lies ahead. The ripple effect of presence. When you live in the present, you inspire others to do the same. Your calm demeanor and focused energy create an atmosphere of peace and stability. This is especially powerful in leadership, where being present can motivate and empower your team. Living in the present isn't about perfection, it's about intention. By making a conscious effort to engage with each moment, you unlock the potential for growth, connection, and fulfillment. Chapter 6: Respond Thoughtfully. Responding thoughtfully is a hallmark of Stoic wisdom. In a world where impulsive reactions often dominate our interactions, thoughtful responses stand out as a testament to emotional intelligence, self-control, and respect for others. Stoicism teaches us that while we cannot control how others act, we can always choose how we respond. The Stoic perspective on reactions. Epictetus offers timeless advice. When you are offended at any man's fault, turn to yourself and study your own failings. This wisdom reminds us that our reactions often reveal more about us than the situations themselves. For instance, when someone criticizes us, our instinct may be to retaliate defensively. But what if we paused and asked ourselves why their words affected us so deeply? Thoughtful responses come from a place of reflection rather than reflex. They allow us to act in alignment with our values rather than being ruled by fleeting emotions. Impulsive reactions versus thoughtful responses. Imagine two colleagues, John and Emma, faced with the same frustrating situation, a last-minute project revision. John immediately lashes out, blaming the team for poor communication. His anger creates tension and damages trust. Emma, on the other hand, takes a moment to breathe. She asks herself, what's the most constructive way to address this? By calmly discussing the issue and proposing solutions, Emma not only resolves the conflict but also earns the respect of her team. The difference between John and Emma lies in their ability to pause and respond thoughtfully, a skill rooted in Stoic practice. Practical strategies for thoughtful responses. Pause before responding. When emotions run high, take a deep breath or count to 10 before reacting. This brief pause can prevent you from saying or doing something you might regret. Ask reflective questions. Before responding, consider: what is the root cause of my feelings? What outcome am I hoping for? Will my response align with my values? Use empathy as a guiding principle. Try to understand the other person's perspective. This doesn't mean you have to agree with them, but empathy fosters constructive communication. Conflict as an opportunity for growth. Conflict is often seen as something to avoid, but Stoicism reframes it as an opportunity for growth. Marcus Aurelius said, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." In relationships, conflicts can strengthen bonds when approached thoughtfully. Instead of viewing disagreements as personal attacks, see them as chances to understand each other better and find solutions together. Consider Sarah and Mark, a couple who often argue about household responsibilities. Instead of blaming each other, they begin using conflict as a way to reassess and redistribute tasks more fairly. This shift transforms their arguments into opportunities for collaboration. Active listening, a pillar of thoughtful responses. Active listening is a powerful tool for responding thoughtfully. When we listen not to reply, but to understand, we create space for meaningful dialogue. Here's how to practice active listening. Focus fully, put away distractions, and give the speaker your undivided attention. Reflect back, paraphrase what they've said to show you're engaged and clarify understanding. For example, it sounds like you're feeling overwhelmed because of the deadlines. Am I understanding you correctly? Ask open-ended questions. Encourage deeper conversation with questions like, can you tell me more about how you're feeling? The role of emotional regulation. Thoughtful responses require emotional regulation. Stoicism offers practical tools to help you manage your emotions effectively. Reframe negative thoughts. Instead of seeing a difficult situation as a disaster, view it as a challenge to overcome. Practice gratitude. Focusing on what you're grateful for can reduce the intensity of negative emotions. Use visualization. Before entering a potentially challenging interaction, visualize yourself responding with calmness and wisdom. The long-term benefits of thoughtful responses. When you consistently respond thoughtfully, you build stronger relationships, earn respect, and maintain your inner peace. Thoughtful responses also set the tone for how others interact with you. Over time, this creates a culture of mutual understanding and respect in your personal and professional circles. Responding thoughtfully isn't about suppressing your emotions, it's about channeling them constructively. By cultivating this practice, you not only navigate challenges more effectively but also inspire others to do the same. Chapter 7. Let go of the outcome. One of the most profound Stoic teachings is the idea of releasing attachment to outcomes. This principle encourages us to focus on our actions, not the results, and to find freedom in detaching from expectations. The problem with outcome attachment. Many of us fall into the trap of obsessing over results, whether in relationships, careers, or personal goals. We set high expectations and measure our worth by whether or not we achieve them. This attachment to outcomes can lead to anxiety, disappointment, and a constant feeling of inadequacy. Consider Sarah, who poured her heart into preparing for a big job interview. Despite her efforts, she didn't get the role. Instead of acknowledging her hard work and using the experience to grow, Sarah spiraled into self-doubt, thinking, I'm not good enough. The Stoic perspective offers a liberating alternative. Focus on what you can control, your effort, preparation, and attitude, and let go of the rest. The wisdom of Marcus Aurelius. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, accept whatever comes to you woven in the pattern of your destiny, for what could more aptly fit your needs? This wisdom teaches us that while we can influence our circumstances, we cannot dictate the outcome. Accepting this truth allows us to approach life with greater peace and resilience. Practical steps to let go of outcomes. Focus on the process. Shift your attention from the result to the actions you're taking. For example, instead of fixating on getting a promotion, concentrate on excelling in your current role and building your skills. Practice gratitude. Recognize the value of the journey, regardless of the destination. Gratitude helps you appreciate the growth and lessons gained along the way. Create a letting go ritual. Write down your expectations for a particular situation, then physically let them go, burn the paper, tear it up, or simply set it aside as a symbolic act of release. Letting go in relationships. Attachment to outcomes is particularly common in relationships. We may hope for a specific response from a partner, a desired level of commitment, or an ideal resolution to conflict. When these expectations aren't met, it can lead to frustration or heartbreak. Instead, consider this. Focus on showing up as your best self in the relationship. Communicate honestly and openly, without demanding a specific outcome. Trust that if the connection is meant to flourish, it will, and if it's not, you'll still grow from the experience. For example, rather than trying to control when or how a partner expresses love, appreciate the ways they already show care. This shift from expectation to acceptance strengthens the bond and reduces unnecessary tension. Visualizing release. A powerful exercise to embody this principle involves visualization. Imagine holding onto a balloon that represents your attachment to a specific outcome. Visualize yourself opening your hand and watching the balloon float away. Feel the lightness and freedom that comes from letting go. Balancing effort and acceptance. Letting go of outcomes doesn't mean abandoning effort or ambition. It's about recognizing the balance between doing your best and releasing the need for control. This mindset allows you to invest fully in your pursuits while maintaining emotional equilibrium. For instance, if you're preparing for an important presentation, focus on delivering your message clearly and passionately. Whether the audience reacts positively or critically is beyond your control. What matters is that you gave it your all. The ripple effect of letting go. When you practice detachment from outcomes, you create space for unexpected opportunities and connections. By releasing rigid expectations, you allow life to unfold in ways you might not have anticipated. Consider James, who applied for a dream job but didn't get it. Instead of dwelling on the rejection, he focused on improving his skills. Months later, a better opportunity came along, one he wouldn't have pursued had he been fixated on the first job. Living with trust in the process. Letting go requires trust in yourself, in the universe, and in the natural flow of life. It's a practice that fosters resilience, reduces stress, and cultivates a deeper sense of fulfillment. As you embrace this principle, you'll find that life becomes less about reaching a destination and more about enjoying the journey. Letting go of outcomes is not just a Stoic practice, it's a gift of freedom you give yourself. Chapter 8, Self-Love is the Foundation. At the heart of Stoic philosophy lies the understanding that our value comes from within, not from external validation. This principle is vital in relationships, work, and personal growth. When you cultivate self-love, you set the standard for how others treat you and create a foundation for a fulfilling life. Understanding self-love. Self-love isn't about arrogance or selfishness. It's about recognizing your worth, embracing your imperfections, and treating yourself with kindness. Epictetus wisely said, "Know first who you are, and then adorn yourself accordingly." This means understanding your values, strengths, and boundaries, and living in alignment with them. When you love yourself, you no longer seek constant approval from others. Instead, you radiate confidence, making you more attractive and impactful in every area of life. The problem with seeking external validation. Many of us fall into the trap of basing our self-worth on how others perceive us. This might look like overworking to earn praise from colleagues, changing your personality to fit in with a social group, staying in a toxic relationship out of fear of being alone. These behaviors stem from a lack of self-love and lead to exhaustion, resentment, and a loss of identity. Stoicism teaches us to look inward for validation, fostering a sense of inner peace and strength. Practical ways to cultivate self-love. Practice daily affirmations. Start each day by affirming your worth. Say phrases like, "I am enough as I am." "I deserve love and respect." "My value is not determined by others' opinions." This practice helps rewire your thoughts and strengthens your belief in your own value. Celebrate your wins. Take time to acknowledge your accomplishments, no matter how small. Whether it's completing a task at work or showing kindness to someone, recognize these moments as reflections of your character and effort. Prioritize self-care. Self-love requires action. Dedicate time to activities that nourish your body, mind, and soul. This could include exercise or yoga, journaling or meditation, pursuing hobbies that bring you joy. When you care for yourself, you reinforce the message that you are worthy of time and attention. Set boundaries. Loving yourself means protecting your energy. Learn to say no to people or situations that drain you or compromise your values. Setting boundaries isn't selfish, it's an act of self-respect. Self-love in relationships. When you practice self-love, your relationships naturally improve. Here's why. You attract healthier connections. People who value you for who you are, not what you can do for them, are drawn to your confidence and authenticity. You set higher standards. Self-love prevents you from settling for unhealthy dynamics. You recognize red flags and prioritize mutual respect. You bring your best self. Loving yourself allows you to show up fully in your relationships, offering support, understanding, and joy. Consider Emma, who once relied on her partner for constant reassurance. By focusing on her own growth and happiness, she became more secure in herself. This shift not only improved her self-esteem but also strengthened her relationship, as her partner no longer felt the pressure to complete her. Self-love in work and success. In the professional realm, self-love translates to confidence, ambition, and resilience. When you value yourself, you pursue opportunities that align with your passions and strengths. You handle criticism constructively, without letting it define your worth. You advocate for yourself, whether it's asking for a raise or setting boundaries with colleagues. James Clear, author of Atomic Habits, emphasizes the power of small, consistent actions in building self-confidence. By setting and achieving micro-goals, like completing a project on time or learning a new skill, you reinforce the belief that you are capable and deserving of success. Overcoming obstacles to self-love. Combat negative self-talk. The way you speak to yourself matters. When critical thoughts arise, challenge them with evidence of your strengths and achievements. Replace "I'm not good enough" with "I'm learning and growing every day." Heal past wounds. Sometimes, a lack of self-love stems from unresolved experiences, such as rejection or failure. Seek support through therapy, journaling, or trusted friends to process these feelings and rebuild your sense of worth. Let go of perfectionism. Striving for perfection is a recipe for frustration. Embrace your humanity by recognizing that mistakes and flaws are part of growth. Seneca reminds us, "What progress have I made? I am beginning to be my own friend." The ripple effect of self-love. When you prioritize self-love, its impact extends far beyond your personal life. You inspire others to value themselves. Create a positive and uplifting environment in your relationships and workplace. Approach challenges with greater resilience and clarity. Self-love is not a destination, it's a lifelong journey of growth, reflection, and compassion. By nurturing this foundation, you build a life rooted in authenticity, strength, and fulfillment. Chapter 9: Letting Go of Control in Relationships. The idea of letting go often feels counterintuitive, especially in relationships. Society teaches us to fight for what we want, to pursue with relentless determination. However, in the context of relationships, control and excessive effort can become counterproductive. Stoicism reminds us that releasing control is not an act of surrender but an act of wisdom and trust. Understanding control in relationships. Control, in this context, doesn't mean domination. It refers to the subtle ways we try to influence outcomes. Expecting someone to behave a certain way. Forcing a relationship to progress at a specific pace. Overanalyzing every interaction to ensure things go right. Epictetus said, "Some things are up to us, and some things are not." In relationships, the feelings, actions, and decisions of others fall squarely in the "not up to us" category. The harder we try to control these elements, the more tension and resistance we create. Why letting go matters. Letting go of control allows relationships to breathe. It creates space for authenticity, mutual respect, and organic connection. Here's why. Freedom of expression. When you stop trying to mold someone into your expectations, you allow them to show their true self. This builds trust and understanding. Reduced anxiety. Letting go of the need to micromanage brings peace of mind. You stop overthinking every detail and start enjoying the relationship for what it is. Healthier dynamics. A relationship based on mutual freedom and respect is far more sustainable than one weighed down by pressure and control. The illusion of control. Many of us hold on to control because it provides a false sense of security. We think, if I can just get them to see things my way, everything will be fine. But this mindset is a trap. Control is an illusion, and clinging to it only leads to frustration. Take the example of Liam, who tried to fix his partner's career struggles by constantly offering advice and pushing them towards certain decisions. Instead of feeling supported, his partner felt suffocated. When Liam finally stepped back and trusted them to navigate their own path, their relationship improved dramatically. Practical exercises to let go of control. The rope visualization. Close your eyes and imagine holding a heavy rope tied to a boat drifting away. The harder you pull, the heavier it feels. Now picture yourself releasing the rope. Feel the tension lift and the peace that follows. This exercise reminds you of the freedom that comes with letting go. Focus on what you can control. List 2 columns. Things within your control, e.g., your actions, your words. Things outside your control, e.g., someone else's feelings. Commit to directing your energy only toward what's in the first column. Practice patience. When you feel the urge to control, pause. Take a few deep breaths and remind yourself of Marcus Aurelius' wisdom. Accept whatever comes to you woven in the pattern of your destiny. Letting go in the context of love. In romantic relationships, letting go doesn't mean giving up. It means trusting the bond and allowing it to grow naturally. When you release control, you stop chasing validation and start appreciating the present moment. You allow your partner the freedom to love you in their own way. You create an environment where both individuals can thrive. Think about Sarah, who used to anxiously text her partner throughout the day, needing constant reassurance. When she embraced letting go, she found more joy in her day-to-day life and noticed her partner becoming more attentive and engaged. Her trust created a stronger connection than her anxiety ever could. Letting go in professional relationships. The principles of letting go also apply to the workplace. Trying to control colleagues, micromanage projects, or obsess over outcomes only increases stress and tension. Instead, focus on delivering your best work. Trust your team to handle their responsibilities. Accept that not every project will go perfectly, and that's okay. By letting go, you free yourself to think creatively and collaborate effectively, which ultimately leads to better results. The emotional freedom of letting go. One of the greatest gifts of releasing control is emotional freedom. You no longer feel tethered to outcomes, people's opinions, or external circumstances. Instead, you reclaim your power and focus on your own growth. Self-reflection is key here. Ask yourself, what am I holding on to that no longer serves me? How can I redirect this energy towards something positive? The ripple effect of letting go. When you practice letting go, the benefits ripple outward. You build deeper, more authentic connections. Experience less stress and greater peace of mind. Become a source of inspiration for others to embrace trust and freedom. As the Stoics teach, true strength lies not in holding on but in knowing when to let go. By practicing this principle, you'll find that life, and your relationships, flow more naturally and harmoniously. Conclusion: embracing the flow of life. The journey through Stoicism reveals that true strength lies in mastering ourselves rather than trying to control external circumstances. By focusing on acceptance, independence, and patience, we create a foundation for meaningful relationships and personal growth. The freedom in letting go. Forcing relationships or outcomes, as explored in Chapter 1, only leads to frustration. Instead, by accepting what we cannot control, we free ourselves to focus on what truly matters, our own thoughts, actions, and growth. Acceptance, as Marcus Aurelius reminds us, is a courageous act that brings clarity and peace. Building independence and patience. Strong relationships come from two whole individuals, as discussed in Chapter 3. Cultivating independence allows us to bring our best selves to every connection. Similarly, patience, explored in Chapter 4, demonstrates trust in the natural rhythm of life. Relationships, like gardens, require time and care to truly flourish. Living in the present and responding thoughtfully. Being present, Chapter 5, enriches relationships, while thoughtful responses in conflict. Chapter 6, build mutual respect. Instead of reacting impulsively, Stoicism teaches us to align our actions with our values, creating stronger connections and fostering understanding. The power of self-love and letting life unfold. As discussed in Chapter 8, self-love sets the tone for how others treat us. By valuing ourselves and setting boundaries, we teach others to respect our worth. Letting go of attachment to outcomes. Chapter 7, creates the space for authentic connections and opportunities to naturally come into our lives. A final reflection. Marcus Aurelius said, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." By embracing the principles of Stoicism, you shift from forcing to allowing, from chasing to attracting. Life becomes richer and more fulfilling when approached with grace, patience, and self-awareness. Take these lessons into your relationships, career, and personal growth. Let go of what's beyond your control, nurture your independence, and trust that what's meant for you will arrive in its own time. By staying true to these principles, you'll discover a life of resilience, connection, and peace. Stay strong, stay stoic, and let life unfold. Thank you for watching this video and joining me on this journey of growth and self-discovery. Your time and attention mean the world to me, and I truly hope you found value in these Stoic lessons. If this video resonated with you, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Share your thoughts below. What lesson resonated with you the most, and how will you apply it in your life? And if you're ready to commit to living with resilience and letting life unfold, drop a "go with the flow" in the comments. We have many more powerful insights and transformative ideas coming up, so be sure to hit the notification bell to stay updated on our next videos. Together, let's continue exploring the incredible wisdom Stoicism offers for every aspect of life.